Hi, it's Ra, Rishikavi Raghudas from Star Presence Astrology, here to give the astrological forecast for Sunday, February 9th, 2025. We love you, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's not just any song. That, of course, is a song made famous by the Beatles, who appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show 61 years ago today, and sort of brought in the age of Aquarius in a certain way, because they were the embodiment of some of the revolutionary changes of the 60s. Uranus, the ruling planet of Aquarius, was coming up in the mid-60s to conjoin Pluto, which is considered the planet of the masses and transformation. So that Uranus-Pluto conjunction of the mid-60s created all the revolutionary change of the 60s, to which in a lot of ways we are reacting now in a reactionary way. But the whole new world that was birthed in the 60s was sort of embodied by the Beatles, which brings us to the astrology of today, because, of course, the sun is in Aquarius, of which Uranus is the ruling planet. Today it's at 20, moving to 21 degrees of the very unconventional, often visionary, sometimes just strange and weird, air sign of Aquarius. But today it is conjoined by Mercury, the planet of communication. This is what's called a cazimi, where a planet crosses the sun and sort of disappears into its light. There are some who say this is a good thing, we're just ablaze with intelligence today, and others in the astrology community who say, no, our intelligence is obscured today because of all the fire of the sun obscuring Mercury. Who knows what's going to happen today? But that sun conjunct Mercury occurs early, 4:08 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7:08 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 12:08 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. The second aspect of great import today is that Mars, the planet of energy and often conflict, is at 18 degrees of the very ultra-sensitive and sometimes moody, but always nurturing water sign of Cancer, and that is where the moon is also moving through today. Mars is at 18 of Cancer and makes a harmonious trine, a nice flowing angle to Saturn, a planet of discipline and structure, sometimes hard knocks. I call this energy grit. This is an aspect that I just call grit. So it's my prediction that in terms of the Super Bowl today, the team with the most grit will win. Probably the running game will determine this game. Anyway, the Mars trine to Saturn occurs early as well, 5:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 1:15 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Then the moon moves through that aspect. It conjoins Mars, which is kind of angry energy, at 11:48 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7:48 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And just 9 minutes later, the moon makes that trine to Saturn from 18 of Cancer to 18 of Pisces. So mid part of the day here in the United States, or afternoon on the East Coast, or evening in Europe, is looking pretty tough here. And this is also the case because later in the day, 2 hours later, the moon makes a hard square, 90-degree angle to Chiron, called the Wounded Healer, sitting at 19 degrees of Cancer. So when the moon gets of Aries. So when the moon gets to 19 of Cancer, it makes a hard 90-degree angle to Chiron and 19 of Aries. Also pretty tough. That says injuries could play a part in the game today as well. 2:27 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when that occurs. 5:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10:27 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And if all that weren't enough, the moon makes awkward angles, an inconjunct, 150-degree, adapt, adjust, accommodate angle to both the sun and Mercury, beginning at 5:29 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8:29 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 1:29 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And so this is one of those very tough sorts of days. Now, we do get a harmonious aspect in the evening, but it involves Uranus, which is the ruling planet of Aquarius and the planet of upsets and sudden change. So there's a clue. There may be an upset in the Super Bowl today. From when the moon is at 23 degrees of Cancer, it makes that sextile 60-degree harmonious angle to Uranus at 23 of Taurus. At 8:39 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11:39 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4:39 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. What a day! I can't tell you what's going to happen in the Super Bowl, but astrologically speaking, it's going to be a tough game and maybe an upset. I'm Ra, Rishikavi Raghudas from Star Presence Astrology. Now, if you would like to have a personal reading with me, you can book it on my website, starpresence.net. Remember, from the very moment that you're born, you've got star presence. Enjoy this day, no matter what.